Most traders talk about liquidity, but very few are actually able to use it correctly. In this video, I'll explain what liquidity really is, how to spot it on your charts, and how to use it correctly. Let's get straight into it. When we are talking about liquidity on the charts, a lot of times what we are referencing is any sort of swing high or swing low. Now you might be wondering, why is that liquidity? Well, logically speaking, if anybody is taking a trade in this range, if anybody is in some sort of long position, most of the time they are going to put their stop loss at any sort of significant lows. So marking out our significant low of the range, we can see this now becomes our sell side. All of the sell side is resting below this level because this is where everybody is placing their stops. Now, if I'm in a long position, all the stops are below here. This is where everybody would get stopped out. Now, what would be my buy side of this range? My buy side would be right here because this is the significant high of this range. So anything above this area would be buy side liquidity. Now, how do we use it to our advantage? So there's something that we like to call external and internal liquidity. Looking at this kind of chart here, what kind of internal levels can we use, right? Well, looking at this market right here, we have our low put in, sell side gets swept, and we have an instant displacement back up. Now, what can we expect? This is where we can look for our entry. You can see we have our fair value gap. Once we sweep this sell side level, where can we expect it to go? Possibly back to buy side. Wait for a pullback to a discounted fair value gap, enter long, and you can see this was a nice possible long setup. We come back into discount, we continue to hold this fair value gap, and we can see this high getting taken right after that. So this would be a valid setup. So now what can we expect after this? What would be another internal buy-side liquidity? This would be external buy-side liquidity. And we have internal buy-side liquidity here. What happens after this big move up? And then displacement right back inside this range. What can we expect to see? Whatever that recent low is, right? Whatever that internal sell-side level is, which is this. So after buy-side gets swept, internal buy-side. If we get displacement back inside the range, right? It looks like the market fails to go higher here. If we get displacement back inside the range, I can expect the market to go to whatever that previous low is. And this becomes our sell side. Again, right here, we have a low. What can we expect to see after this sell side level is taken and we run back up to buy side? So what do we look for? This is where we look for our entry and PD confluence. We look for displacement back up. You can see we have a market structure shift right here. Big displacement, pull back to fair value gap. This is where your long entry would be. You can set your targets along the way. I personally like to place my targets at these highs above the discount. Let's look at some more examples of the ranges. Looking at this range here, the first thing we're going to do is mark out our external liquidities. So this area right here is where all the stop losses of buyers are sitting. And this becomes our sell side liquidity. And this area right here is where all the stop losses of sellers are sitting. And this becomes our buy side liquidity. Once we have that marked out, then we're going to check if we have any internal range liquidity inside this range. Here you can see we have a low put in after the liquidity sweep. After that, you can clearly see a huge displacement to the upside. Right here, we get our market structure shift, and this is where we can look for our entry. From there, targets can be set along the way, ideally at these highs. After that, till this point right here, you can see this was our external buy-side liquidity sweep, which we actually targeted from the internal sell-side liquidity. Now, once this external buy-side liquidity gets swept, the next thing I always ask myself is, what should price be targeting next? Where is the next pool of liquidity resting? And obviously, in this case, the next target is going to be the external sell-side liquidity sitting right here. Now, you can also notice that after this liquidity sweep happens, the market gives us a very clean displacement to the downside, which already tells us that there is weakness coming into the market. Because we are now looking for a short trade, I'm not interested in chasing price. I want price to retrace back into a premium area, ideally into a fair value gap. So once price taps into this fair value gap in premium, This is where I can look to execute my short entry. From there, my target is very simple. I'm targeting the opposing external range sell-side liquidity, and you can see how clean this move plays out, respecting the fair value gap, continuing lower, and delivering perfectly into that sell-side liquidity. So this can also be considered a completely valid trade setup. So now, as our external sell-side liquidity has been swept, what can I expect next? What I'm expecting is for price to go and take the newly generated highs, the highs that previously took out the external buy-side liquidity. So as you can see here, we had our sell-side liquidity taken. After that, this is where we're going to start looking for our 2022 model. You can see we get a huge displacement to the upside, we get a clear market structure shift, and we also have a fair value gap left behind. Now, since our external sell-side liquidity has already been swept, what I'm going to target next is these highs right here, which now become our new external range liquidity. So basically, we can continue trading like this inside ranges, moving from sell side to buy side and buy side to sell side, until either our sell side or buy side gets fully displaced and the range changes. Right here, we have our fair value gap. Now I can look to place my trade at this fair value gap, and my targets will be the opposing external range liquidity highs. And you can see how clean these moves are working. So hopefully you guys learned something from this. This was just a short video on understanding liquidity and how to recognize it. I didn't want to overcomplicate anything for you guys. I just wanted to keep it simple so you can actually start seeing this on your charts. Hopefully this helps you understand how to use liquidity a little better and how to recognize liquidity sweeps in real time. If you guys found value in this video, make sure to like the video, share it with someone who's trying to learn price action, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to take your trading to the next level, make sure to join the Discord and Telegram. Links are in the description. That's where we post updates, market discussions, and setups. And for those of you who are serious about learning this properly, I also have a mentorship program, so if you're interested, all the details are down below. As always, I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.